Okay, good morning Sec 2 and A. Today we are going to recap on some expansion and factorization that we have learned in the past month. You have learned a total of 9 different expansion and factorization. So we're going to do a recap, and then after that you're going to do a worksheet on expansion and factorization. Let's talk about the first type of expansion that we are all very comfortable with. This type of expansion only requires us to multiply the number into the brackets. Very simple. A times B is AB. A times positive C is positive AC. And we are done. This is the first type of expansion. The second type of expansions involve two different brackets. And from here, we can use the rainbow method to expand. From here, y multiplied by 2y will give us 2y squared. Y times minus 7 will give us minus 7y. Positive 3 times 2y will give us positive 6y. And the last, positive 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. Okay, from this expression, we need to see what we can actually simplify. We can simplify the like terms, which is the minus 7y, and the positive 6y. All we just need to do is to simplify that. So 2y squared minus 7y plus 6y will give us minus y minus 21. From here, we cannot simplify any further because there are no more like terms. Y squared, y, and 21 are different terms. You cannot join them together. Now, let's take a look at the third type of expansion. 2x minus 3 squared. Like what we know and what we have learned so far, anything squared will give us the same thing multiplied by the same thing. Smiley face square equals to smiley face times smiley face. So similarly for 2x minus 3 squared, it's 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. From here, we just need to expand this expression. So 2x times 2x, 2x times negative 3, negative 3 times 2x, and negative 3 times negative 3. Now let's do the expansion. 2x times 2x, don't forget to multiply the 2. 2 times 2 is 4, x times x is x squared. So 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. From here, let's not forget to simplify the expression. Take a look at the like terms. Minus 6x minus 6x. Minus 6x minus 6x will give us minus 12x. So 4x squared will remain as 4x squared. This will become minus 12x, and the last term is positive 9. Okay, there are no more like terms. We cannot simplify them further. X squared, x, and the number are all different terms. We cannot simplify them together. Now, the last type of expansion is the one where we have one negative and one positive. They are slightly different. Now, how so? We are going to use the rainbow method to help us expand again. Now, this will give us 2t times 2t is 4t squared. 2t times positive 3 is positive 6t. Negative 3 times 2t is negative 6t. Negative 3 times positive 3 is negative 9. Now, if you notice in this kind of expansion, positive 6t and negative 6t in the center part will give you 0. So we are only left with 4t squared minus 9. Okay? In other words, if I have a minus b multiplied by a plus b with the two terms in front the same, the a and the a is the same. Look at this, 2t and 2t, they are the same, followed by, if you see 3 and 3 are the same, b and b are the same. Okay? And we are only separated with, the only difference is one negative and one positive. The end result, if you were to notice, is just a squared minus b squared. Okay, take a look at some observation. Take a look at this and absorb the knowledge. Okay, you may pause the video if you need to clarify, or you may ask me. Now let's take a look at some of the factorization techniques that we have learned. The first type of factorization that we have learned is to take out common factors. Now 3a squared b plus 6ac. If you see the number 3 and 6, what is the common factor that we can take out? We can take out the common factor of 3. Now let's take a look at the next one. A squared a. We can take out a common factor of a. Now if you take a look at this one, b, c, no common factor, so there's nothing we can do about it. Now what are we left with after we take out 3a? After we take out 3a, for the first term, we are left with ab. For the second term, we are left with 2c. Alright, that's it for the first type of factorization, just pulling out common factors. Now, the second type of factorization is also pulling out common factors, but this time, we have only one a at the second term. So if we pull out the common factor of a, we are not only left with b, but after we pull out a in the common term, we are left with 1. Okay, so this is a common careless mistake. Need you all to take note of this. The third type of factorization involves a quadratic equation. Now, this is what we call a quadratic expression. Alright, now how do we factorize a quadratic expression, or how do we identify a quadratic expression? Is when you have a square term, an x term, and a term with no x at all, just a number. This is how you identify a quadratic expression. Now, once you see a quadratic expression, the way to factorize it is through this table method. Okay, put the x squared here, put the positive 6 here, put the negative 5x here. Then you think about it. What times what gives you x squared? If you know it's x times x that gives you x squared. And what times what gives you positive 6? It can be negative 6 times negative 1 that gives you positive 6. And then now let's multiply. X times negative 6 gives you negative 6x. X times negative 1 gives you negative 1x. Now, it's time for you to check. Negative 6x, negative 1x, does it give you negative 5x? If it doesn't give you negative 5x, then this working is wrong. You have to try again. So all you just need to do is to erase and try again. Now, what else gives you positive 6? If you think about it, negative 3 times negative 2 also give you positive 6. Now, let's try to multiply that. X times negative 3 gives you negative 3x. X times negative 2 gives you negative 2x. Now, time for you to check this column here. Negative 3x, negative 2x. Does it give you negative 5x? In this case, it does. If it gives you negative 5x, the factorization will become x minus 3, x minus 2. The final answer is here. Alright, so this is the third type of factorization. The next type of factorization involves 4 different terms. The first 2 terms here, and the next 2 terms here. Now, to factorize this, first we factorize the blue underlined part, which is 5mx minus 10m. Factorize out the common factors. If you notice 5 and 10, you can factorize out 5, and you can factorize out m. And what are you left with? You are left with x minus 2. Now, the pink color one, if you realize, minus 3x plus 6, you have 2 choices. You can factorize out either positive 3 or negative 3. In this case, I'm going to factorize out negative 3. If I factorize out negative 3, I'm left with x minus 2. Now, you may ask, sure, why is it x minus 2? And that is because negative 3 times x gives me negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 2 gives me positive 6, which is the same expression as what we have on top. Now, from here, we are not done yet. X minus 2, if you notice, there are 2 terms here. 5m times x minus 2, and another term, which is minus 3 times x minus 2. If you realize there's a common factor of x minus 2, we need to factorize out the common factor x minus 2. And what are we left with? We are left with 5m minus 3. Now, you should be familiar with this because we just covered this in the previous HBL. The last type of factorization, which probably is the weakest among all of you, will be a square minus b square. A square minus b square is the opposite of this type of expansion. Now, if you notice, from here to here is called expansion. Now, if you go backwards, it is called factorization. So a square minus b square, if we factorize, we will get a minus b, a plus b. If you're unsure, refer to your previous notes again. So a square minus b square, the factorization will give us a plus b, a minus b. Let me give you some examples on this. What if we have x square minus 9? X square minus 9 is actually x square minus 3 square, because 3 times 3 gives you 9. The factorization will give us two brackets, one of which is x minus 3, one of which is x plus 3. Take note, this and this has to be the same, and 3 has to be the same. The only difference is one is minus and one is plus. Let me give you another example. X square minus 4. As all of us know, 4 is 2 square. So it's x square minus 2 square. Now, if we factorize, you will have the x and the x here, which is the same. The 2 and the 2 here, which is the same. And in the center, one is minus and one is plus. Alright, anytime you are unsure about the factorization, different factorization techniques, please refer back to this video and you'll be able to find out the 9 different types of factorization and expansion. Now, you need to do the expansion and factorization worksheet provided in OneNote as well.